what's different. And so today we're going to have open houses. There's a few agents on here that are dominating open houses. I mean, Drew just did one this past weekend and had 35 through, and she's done a few. She's in my market. She's done a few of my open houses. She's like my go-to because she's picking up the buyers. She's converting the buyers. She's actually bringing, oh, Drew, I'm actually closing the deal right now that we got in a multiple offer situation that you did not get. Oh my gosh, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. That stings a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay.
I wanted it to work.
I'm glad it's closing. I'm glad it's closing.
You and me both. So anyway, so Drew is a beast. She comes from Vancouver originally. So for y'all that have excuses saying, "Hey, I'm new in the city. I don't know anybody," like she knew nobody in the country. So when she can come from one country to another country and just dominate, you want to listen to what she has to share. Kristen Edwards is another one. She's going to be sharing. Kristen, let me brag on her for a minute, is out of Houston. She got her license the day before the world shut down from COVID. And she called me and said, that was great timing. What now? I said, plug in, lean in, learn from all of us at EXP around the nation, see whatever you can do. And she came out of it not only with flying colors, but she closed, I think it was 18 deals from 4 months of open houses and hit icon as a newer agent. So there's a lot that you guys can learn from. There's some other people in here doing open houses. Lizette has the flu, so she can't join us today, but I'm super excited for you guys all to share and just pour into each other. And we're streaming this into the group, so you can go back and watch it later. Annika, you might want to give them sharing screen up capabilities if they need it, but thank you guys for being here. Brian, thank you for handling things while I walk into this closing, and we'll go from there.
You're awesome. Thank you.
So Kristen and Drew, I know you two are in here. I don't know who else is that's going to talk open houses, but why don't y'all just give like a few minute overview of who you are, what your business looks like, what you're doing really, really well, and then you guys can just create a mastermind. You don't have to talk at everybody, but you know how this all operates. Let's like field questions, have a mastermind. Let's really get deep into what y'all are doing on a day-to-day basis.
Is Jennifer Goodman on yet as well? Jennifer? No? Okay. She was gonna, she'll join us.
She might. Annika's gonna, Brian, Annika's gonna let everybody in as they pop up, so she may jump in too. Okay? You guys are rock stars. Make it a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Do you want to go first?
Do I want to go first? Sure.
Yeah.
A little bit about me. Elizabeth hit it on the head. I came from Vancouver. I had been an agent there for years, and then I came to Austin and I knew absolutely nobody. And in Canada, open houses weren't really a giant thing. They weren't, it wasn't just how it worked there. So I was like, let me figure out how I can build my business and meet people. And I actually think Elizabeth was like, hey, do you want to host an open house? And I had no idea what that even meant. And I was like, sure. So I showed up, I watched videos on YouTube for a bit, and then I hosted some open houses, and I ended up converting a ton of buyers off my first four open houses. It just launched my Austin career here. And so as I've been doing that, I've been ripping off and repeating a bunch of different things from other people that work, Kristen included. I stole Kristen's sign idea, and I used Kristen's sign idea. She'll tell you about that later. But I right now almost exclusively do open houses. It's my only lead generation. That's it. That's all I do. I talk to the people at open houses.
Same.
I do business to business stuff out of open houses. I run my open houses a little bit differently than Kristen. Kristen runs her, like, she does a very traditional open house. She throws like a party and it's fun. I use my open house a lot of the time. Elizabeth isn't here, she won't hear this, but not to sell the house that I'm in, to sell a house that's around, because very seldom do you actually sell that house. We actually have done it a couple times, but you need to know the market where you're around. So what I do is
well, Drew, let's let everybody, the other speakers, introduce, and then we'll
go ahead.
start off.
Yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
Well, it's just me, and she's welcome to go. I was like, let her roll. So
Go, Kristen.
I-
No, go.
I'd like to,
Yeah.
I want to find out what y'all do before to prep, what you do during, what you do after. So I'd love to kind of go through that stage so we can
Yeah, okay,
understand
cool.
your process.
Okay, so I'll do my intro and then I can let Drew go like kind of through her process. Because our processes are probably kind of similar, but they're also the same. And by the way, I don't want to come off like I'm some kind of guru in this and that I know everything about open houses. I have been to other open house trainings before that were 1000% different than what I do. I remember this one guy in EXP and he literally has no music, no goodies, no mimosas, no candles, no flowers, no nothing. And he literally stands at the he has like a high top table he brings with him and he stands right by the front door. And as soon as somebody walks in the door, he's like, "Did you register for today?" And I'm like, I'm not freaking doing that. Like, I'm super fun, crazy high. I do. It is like an open house party. But I also like, I love people. And if you can't create a relationship with someone and build rapport with people really quickly, that's the whole ball of wax. I forget whose house we're trying to sell or whatever. It's about the relationships with the people. Because you don't know what their story is. And I've had people go deep with me in an open, this just past weekend, this lady and I were probably talking for like 6 or 7 minutes and she started to tear up. And because I was asking her about purchasing a home and she started getting like really emotional with me and I thought it was really cool. And I know there's probably some guys on here that would have been like, "Oh my God, this girl's crying." Like, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? And luckily it was just her and I, right? So yes, Kristen Edwards in Houston, Texas. I did start my business two days before the country shut down and got quite a shock with that. I know there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh yeah, perfect timing, whatever." Well, hindsight's always 2020, right? The first 6 weeks I was in the business, we weren't essential. So I couldn't do anything and I didn't have like, they talk about is, "Oh, you had 6 months of income and you can it takes a long time to get rolling." And so and I'm here and everybody's being weird about being with people. I never ever got to meet my mentor in person because of all the COVID stuff. But it was what I loved about EXP was that literally nothing changed. So I just decided like and I went from being a pro in the med center to a rookie. I hadn't been a rookie in a long time. And so I thought, how can I compress 10 years of experience like into, a day, which obviously that's not how it went. But I have notebook after notebook. I can't speak highly enough about our training. I made a full-time job out of it. I did at least 6 to 8 hours a day, every single day for like 6 weeks straight. Sometimes even on the weekends, I was reading books. I was like, I'm going to learn everything about this. I want to sound like a pro when I get in when I actually get to work with someone. And by the way, I cannot tell you how many, and Drew, sure, positive that Drew is the same. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard open houses don't work. They're a waste of time. Why are you doing that? This is so old fashioned, whatever. And then I just asked them like, well, if you had an open house and it had led to 16 transactions and counting, because I'm still doing business with all of those people, would you still have the same opinion? And obviously the answer is no. No human being that I've ever talked to has one opportunity that has led to 16 transactions. So in my opinion, they do work. And furthermore, you got to run your own race. Like if this isn't your thing and you don't want to do it, that's great. Get out of the way so Drew and I can do your open houses. I'm just kidding about that. But I love to entertain. And so for me, this was just an organic thing. I literally had a zero business plan when I was running on the treadmill. And in the process of getting my license, I was also training for my first half marathon. And I remember I went to school here at Champions School of Real Estate, and Rita Santa Maria was interviewing this girl, and she was from Dallas, and she was blonde. So that's probably why I like empathized or connected with her or whatever. And I remember her saying, and I don't remember what brokerage she was with, but I remember her saying her first year in the real estate business, and I don't remember when her first year was, if it was in 17, 18, 19, whatever. She had made over $80,000 just from open houses. And I was like, hey, that sounds cool. Like good starting point. Cause I figured the open houses will launch me into another space, right? So like you meet people at the open house, and then those people refer you, and then you meet those people, and then those people refer, right? So it's just kind of a way to like keep growing and keep replicating. Besides open houses, I do a lot of farming. I know that's also very old school, and people are like, oh, that doesn't work or whatever. I've sold 7 listings in out of 53 in our community, so I disagree. And I actually have sold more real estate in the community that I farm in than any other realtor has in the last 4 years. So I don't know. And then I have a
Jen-
version of
Kristen,
social
I
media, but
want to get in
that.
I want to get in some details here in a minute.
Yes. Okay.
So, all right, Jennifer Goodman, are you're driving? Are you able to chat as well? Maybe. See if we can get the mute off.
It's childproof today.
All right. The reason I wanted Jennifer Goodman on this call is because she's with EXP as well in Austin, Texas. She hosts open house during the week as well. Like, we'll literally go plop at houses during the week. Like, why go sit in your office or at home when you can sit and have an open house and meet people? And just a real quick story about her. She hosted an open house at one of my listings. It was a $1.5+ million home in Travis Heights area. And sure enough, from that open house that she held probably 25 or 30 straight days in a row, she sold that house to a buyer who walked in from one of those opportunities. So Jennifer, if you could give us a quick rundown of what you do, who you are, and then we'd love to start getting into some real details to help folks on this call.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on today, Brian. I appreciate it. My name is Jennifer Goodman. I am a local realtor here in Austin. And similar story, I went out on my own, and then, we got the pandemic, and that had me thinking a lot about how I want to show up, who I want to be in the marketplace. And truth be told is, if you ask me what I'm putting all my eggs in as a basket right now, I would say it is the social media aspect, and I need to get known. And so I'm sort of two-stepping, if you will. From a day-to-day, I am, like you said, Brian, I'm putting myself in homes, and I am focusing on being in the $1 million plus market in different locations. Of those homes, I'm going to be releasing the video of that house we sold together in Travis Heights. I'm shooting long form video content. All of the open houses that I do, my promise to myself is that I shoot a live from that open house every single time. It's my time when it gets me out of my Lululemon sweats and out into the market and an opportunity to meet people. And I put my own signs out because it means I'm meeting the neighbors. I'm talking to people. They're walking their dogs and their babies and that thing. And so they get used to seeing my sign out, and they're like, gosh, she works hard. She's showing up day after day, kind of thing. And so that's a little bit about me. I shoot at the houses alive. I can share anything about that you'd like. And that is my plan, is long form video content and getting my butt out the door and sitting in houses, have the opportunity to meet people and study the market.
Thank you for that.
Did that answer?
Yeah, that's great. Just a little rundown, kind of what you're up to. I'd love to start off. How do y'all prepare? What do you do before open houses? Do you do any special marketing to get it out there? And love to know what each of y'all do. I think that is step one. There's plenty of opportunities for open houses in any market right now. And also on the marketing, how do you choose your open houses? Are you looking at a specific area, specific price point? If y'all could go over each of your processes, I think that'd be wonderful.
Who do you want to go first? Doesn't matter. Jennifer, you go ahead.
Sure, because I'm rude and my mic is still open. I apologize for that.
Oh, you're good.
I beforehand on my business page, I will have an ad that says the days of the week that I will be sending an open house. What I do is I shoot footage inside each of those houses before I ever open house. So we've got photos and videos. We can do carousels. We can do all sorts of things, and we create video content. The last piece of that is obviously the date, the time, the location that I am there. So it ends the reel, and it's a reel specifically. It ends on that part, and it will sit there. That reel we also put in Instagram stories, and then it goes on LinkedIn, my business Facebook page. I think that might be it right now, because we kind of pulled it back. There's no point in having it in TikTok.
I've been on the other side of your open houses as the listing agent. And one thing that I find, and Catherine Myers is on here too, incredibly intriguing to us, is the level of detail that you actually want to know about the property. Like, you come in prepared. I mean, you were asking questions that are borderline annoyance, but you're doing it for the right reasons, because you want to have the information to give the folks that walk in, because it makes you become a really a source of knowledge, and you understand the properties. It's not like you just stick your sign up and show up and have the MLS sheet, like who the builder is, what kind of warranty is there, right? Like, what are the special details I can't see about the house? Like, that is one thing that I find really, really awesome with your preparation going into open houses.
Yeah, I knew I was borderline annoying asking you questions, and
And
at
I
the
say that
same
in a light way
time,
because
number
it's a-
one, no, but I know one, I was going to stand out so that you were like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't just somebody who's like half-assing it. Number two is I do want to know things and be able to speak diligently, to walk in and be able to tell them things that aren't on the MLS. Now, if we are acting as a buyer's agent, we need to provide value. And so for me, I hate getting caught with down because I don't know the answer to something. Like, I should automatically know all the basic things. What year was the house built? How many square feet? You know, for the analytical people, this is listed at this, you know, a square foot. Like, I need to know those things. Can something be converted? Like, these are things that are of value to anybody walking in. So I just put myself in the feet of the consumer. Like, what are they going to ask me? And I love when they ask me something I don't know, because I'm like, that's one I don't know, but I will find out for you. And I say it with enthusiasm, and I own that I don't own it. Then I offer to stay connected. I also put out a minimum of 20 signs as a pre-listing thing. So it's a pain in the booty. However, when I'm working, people should know. And what's the worst that can happen? I had somebody complain once. She walked into the open house with her dog, and she's like, you're here all the time. You have signs everywhere. It's obnoxious. How many signs do you have out? And I said, 32. And she's like, oh my God. And I said, what? She said, that's just way too many signs. So I said, I promise you in future, if that is obnoxious, I will not put out as many. And the next day I was there and I put out 31, which wasn't 32. So I wasn't lying.
Hey,
But
Jen, to me, if you're
yeah.
not getting calls that people are pissed off, you don't have enough out. So that I get calls. I used to get calls all the time. Your signs and these balloons and all this stuff. I'm like, don't care. Hire me to sell your house. We'll get it done.
Kristen, what's your process?
Yes. Okay. So I go into our MLS and always typically are working at proper. If I don't have my own listings, which by the way, probably 80% of the open houses I've done have not been at my listings. So I've got an agent in Houston that does a ton of renovations. She's been in the business for 20 years. Her husband and her have been doing renos for 10 years, and they do like amazing work, really unique. Houses are always built in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And so I love to do renovations there. I'm the same way. I've got like a whole spiel that I talk about the company that did the renovation. But I typically only do open houses that have been on the market for 14 days or less. So, and with EXP, so I know how to run a search in our MLS to find that. I work in target areas because you want to. So I have a whole open house training that I'm happy to share with you guys at any point called The Art and Science of a Killer Open House. Because there definitely is an art and a science to it, in my opinion. If you're not like if you're hosting an open house at a property that's been on the market for 90 days, the likelihood that the traffic coming in is probably going to be none. If you're hosting an open house that is, you know, not very attractive and not something, you know, that's pretty then shiny like everybody likes, then you're probably not going to have great traffic. But yeah, I like to circle prospect around the open house. I work with a company called L2L, Listings to Leads, and which is where I get all my QR codes for things, so that this can do work for me when I'm not there. So there's a nearby, when I go in and I put in the MLS number and the zip code, it generates an entire marketing packet for me. So social media ads, nearby homeowner letters, emails, everything is done in an instant. I don't have to make any of the things or come up with any of the things myself. And everything is geared around QR codes, which I'm a huge fan of. Thanks to the magic of COVID, everybody knows how to use a QR code and they're all very familiar with how to do that. And then when someone pops that QR code within about 5 or 10 seconds of the person looking at it, it will ask for their information. It won't allow them to move on. So I have a team of people that follow up with these leads that are coming in within 5 minutes. So I take that nearby homeowner letter, and basically at the top it says, when this or any property sells within 2.5 miles of your home, it will impact the value of your property. Please call or text me if you have any questions. And then I have the information about the open house. So I actually rearranged the letter a little bit because I want everything to be the way I like it. And so I put in like massive letters across the front. You're invited, because I want people to know that I personally am inviting them to come to the open house. I've got one listing right now that needs a lot of help. It has no floors, no toilets, and needs paint. So it's been funny though, because we're supposed to be on the market back in September, but you would not believe the quantity of neighbors that have come. I've never had this many neighbors show up to a property before. And so anyways, so I like to invite them. I've gotten a little creative. So with that letter, I have like a plastic bag, which I didn't bring, that I can hang it on their doorknob. And then I put like some fruit snacks in there because everybody likes fruit snacks. And even if it just makes an impression on the way to the trash, at least I got the fruit snacks. I did a donut theme for like 3 weeks in a row. That was unbelievable. Typically morning open houses for me have always been awful. And I couldn't believe how much traffic came from these donut, because I wanted people, so I'm always coming up with like creative, funny stuff. So it said, do not miss the opportunity to, preview this property.
That's great.
Yeah. And so I bought these like squishy donuts that were like stress balls or whatever. And I went and I put the donut inside with the letter in the bag, and I hung those on everybody's door. And
How many homes are you putting it on?
20. So obviously every weekend I went to a new 20, right? So that was kind of hard to like keep up with, like, okay, where did I stop? And then how do you, but
Can
yeah.
you share that? Would you be willing to share that letter with everybody?
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I can, I'll let
We
somebody
can
else
post
know.
it
I'll grab
on the chat after.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then, yes, because I think that's awesome. If nothing else, people hang on to them, and like call you later. And then the other thing I do, so I actually, Jennifer, I used to do like at least 15 signs. But I've been doing some research with myself recently, and I've realized that more signs for me recently hasn't meant more traffic. So I've actually been doing I've only been doing 5 signs, which I know that sounds crazy. Can I talk about this really fast? I have my signs right here.
Of course.
Okay, so I have these signs, right? The little one with your name and your phone number and the open house and all this stuff. And this is like a plastic sleeve that I have with the QR code on top. And this is great, but when is the open house? What day is it? What's the address? Right? This doesn't tell you anything. So I could be evil and just make everybody scan this, but and maybe I should start doing that because there's some, anyways.
Did you get that sign from our marketing center? By the
What did
way?
you say?
Is that sign from our marketing center?
It's from Markful, Markful. That's where I buy all my, because
Should we
their
go
stuff
down
is
now?
the least expensive. All of this stuff is expensive as crap. So that's the least expensive. I've looked at a lot of
11
companies,
o'clock.
least expensive companies I could find. And then
Okay. Let's
Somebody-
try it. And I want to go by
somebody-
Monogram Lady because I've been meaning to
Elizabeth.
go by there.
Oh, so-
Elizabeth, we can hear you. All right, go ahead.
Sorry. Ignore me. Hi.
They're funny. And then this is the one, I know these look really, really trashy, but I don't care because they work really good. So this open house sign is from Lowe's. And then I have a Cricut, so I just put the EXP on here so that people don't steal them. And then these are just sleeves, like plastic sleeves that I can slide these papers in and out of because it gets wet and it rains and the sprinklers go off and whatever. So I always have the address on one side and then the day and the time on the other. And I like to write something funny here. And then I have the QR code on here also. So these things can kind of like work for you when you're not working. And I need to replace some of these because they're getting all like beat up and stuff. But and then I've been using balloons recently, which I know sounds funny. You just buy a tank from Walmart. It's like 53 bucks. And then I'm doing St. Patty's theme this weekend. So I have like St. Patty's napkins. I've got like all these like necklaces. So this is what's going in my letter to drop off to everybody today. And then I have like these 4-leaf clover balloons that
I-
I'm just gonna
Kristen, I have
blow
a
up with my
question.
little
How
machine.
many calls, Kristen, how many calls have you received from these free open house packets that you've dropped off? Like,
So I don't generally get a lot of traffic prior to the open house, but I have people show up from the open house because they got the,
and it creates a
The-
conversation, a
Yes.
moment, right?
yeah.
And some of those have led to sales?
No, not yet.
All right, well, don't
I'm
do
not
that
saying-
idea, guys.
Yeah.
I
But,
I
I
see.
think what it shows is like that you're like, it shows other people like how much you're doing to help sell the house. Right?
this is
So I
wonderful.
think that's what's more impressive than like, so
You're
yeah,
building rapport
personally,
with them.
almost
building rapport.
nothing has come from the QR codes and all that stuff, but it looks really fancy. And I have a team of people that are following up with it for life. So just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't,
Well,
right?
and you stand out. You stand out. You're very
Thank you.
unique, and that's are incredible ideas. Drew, we'd love to hear, what do you do before? Because I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about what we do during and after. So
No
let's try to
problem.
make sure that-
I
yeah.
see Megan in the chat. This is me. This was me, Megan. I do a little bit different. I'm a little bit more. Kristen is like pretty, and she does some really like fun things, and I just can't get there. I have 5 kids, and I'm doing some other things. But I do the drop off kind of like Kristen, but the difference in my drop off is I target homeowners that have been in the area for 5+ years. And then I'm dropping off, I learned it from Kristen Mayshore. She does CMA boxes. I do that CMA box. I do my own style in it. I'm going on Remine. I think Megan was asking how I find these. I go on Remine, I search time of ownership, equity, right? Because especially in our Austin market, there's lots of places that have different equity jumps, and we've seen a lot of people, they could have only been in their home for 3 or 4 years. So I'm doing a CMA box, I drop it off. It's actually a pizza box. It says your home value has been delivered, and it's a pizza box, and it's got all my information on it, and it's right there. See, I can be creative. It's
Yeah, you're
right there.
with Kristen.
I'm
You're
right there.
That
I'm right
was
there.
so good, dude. I love that.
I knew you'd love that. So then I drop it off, and I put the QR code, and I write a handwritten note that says you're invited to the open house. All my notes are handwritten. I drop about 50 every weekend, and I try to do every weekend. This is the other thing. I do a Saturday and a Sunday. I do a back to back, and I want to be the one doing it, or whoever's doing it. I have a team that they all do open houses too. I see some of them on here, and that's if you're going to do an open house and you're not going to prepare for it, don't even bother. If you're just going to show up and put a sign out, there's no point. It's
How
not
many-
the
how long
actual
are your
open house.
houses? Are they 2 hours or
2
3 hours?
2 hours.
Okay.
I'm right now doing, I'm seeing as we're gonna get into the hotter months here in Texas, 11 to 1 is really a great time. We had last weekend, we had 35 people through our Northwest Hills listing, and then we had another 30 the next day. So that's just who signed in. So I probably had 10 or 15 that didn't sign in. And we marketed that, and that was priced properly. You just gotta do your homework. You can't just show up with a sign and hope that somebody's gonna come through and want to buy a
Are
house.
you doing any social media marketing or anything besides that as well to market the open house?
I do. I put it out on social media. I'm not doing anywhere near what I need to be doing in that realm. Because I find I'll do a property boost for $40. I'll boost the property, and then I get all the leads from that, and I invite people. My secret sauce is getting in front of people. If I can get in front of you, you want to be my client. So that's why I do open houses. I am not a cold caller, social media. I'm a relationship-based person. It's just one of the things that I just haven't had success with.
And the reality is that everybody has their own way. There's
Mhm.
not, you find what works for you,
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
the business is so beautiful. And don't get me wrong, there have been open houses where I didn't do anything for it. I did not do any circle prospecting. I did not, I was at the open house there was one little honey hole that I had. Oh my God. Every weekend I got a new buyer. Every single weekend I was there. So I just kept coming back and coming back and coming. And it was between November and December. And I was there for like 6 weeks in a row. And every single, like all of those people, we're still in contact. We're still in communication. I've got folks that I'm taking today to go look at property. One's already closed. One's about to close in 2 weeks. And so we don't want to scare you guys by thinking you've got to buy a basquillion signs and spend 80 hours prepping for the open. That's not what this is about. Like, be authentically you and figure your own way. Like if you want to put out 5 signs and show up and you had a crazy week and you're out with people and you didn't have time to do whatever, like go for it. It doesn't matter.
but there is a common thread amongst all of y'all that are doing this at an exceptional level. And that is y'all spend time on the front end, marketing, preparing, meeting neighbors. And there's a reason that y'all are having success. I'd love to get in. We have 23 minutes left and we have one question. Cindy, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for all this good information. I'm new to EXP, so it's very helpful for me. But I wanted to ask you ladies, how are you getting around homeowner associations that have a non-soliciting policy?
I'm not hosting open houses there.
So technically you're not soliciting. You're inviting people. So every single neighborhood has no soliciting. I don't care about that. It's never stopped me before. I've never gotten in trouble for it. I did have one weekend out at a lake community where someone stole all of my signs. So that was kind of funny because I came back the very next weekend with all new signs and that didn't happen again. I did start doing something that's even more trashy. I write on the side of the sign, if this sign is in violation, remove it and put it at the address below, property of Kristen Edwards.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's great.
So since then, I have not had a single, okay, let me knock on wood really fast. I have not had a single sign stolen since I put that little message on there.
You should offer $1 reward as well if they bring it back to you.
Yeah, well, I offer a lot more than it. Like, yeah, if found, please. Yeah.
All right, so I'd love to get in. We have I want everybody to have time for questions as well. So if y'all could limit your answers like 3 minutes.
I got one here.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from each person what day they put the signs out.
Good
At
question.
least 24 hours in advance.
Yeah, it's bless my husband. It's our Friday date night. So we go. He puts all my signs out. He always has. I'll put my signs out sometimes, but we go put signs out and he like maps it. It's like a fun game for him now. Like he has a map and he's mapping it out. He's like, this is where we need to put all the signs. So we do it at least the Friday night. Unless I'm, not gonna be doing one till Sunday, then I wait till Saturday. I don't do it more than that. I was doing it Thursday previously. And sign lossage was a major issue. And I got a couple calls when I was in Zilker area that they hated me. So that was fun and to come pick up my signs. So, but 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm a same dayer. I had some that somebody called me the other day and said, your signs have been here for a couple weeks. I've just put them by the tree. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I actually need to give them, I've got a little something for them that I need to drop off. But I'm a same dayer and I do it purposefully. And Brian, if it's okay, I'm going to tell you how I do it, which is I put all my signs out, but the last signs I need to put out are those that are right in front of the house. But before I do that, I make sure all the lights are on in the house so that if somebody is coming and they want to meet me, I'm not there like frantically turning the lights on. I am already prepared. So I could put them all out in the neighborhood, go pop out the lights on the house, and then go in and put the final lights that point at the actual house that I am open housing so that I don't look like a goofball.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
I
would
can't
love
do same day. It's a sweaty thing. Like I go and work out. Today it's cold here, so I'm running in Lulu's and workout clothes doing that because when I did my very first open house, I was like 20 minutes before popping the sign out. Nobody comes. The traffic is horrible to me. If you're not doing it in advance. But I have a question really fast for Jennifer because I am so curious what days and times that you've done during the week that work. I've done multiple during the week ones and none of them have ever brought a single human being. So I'm just curious about what days and time. I haven't done it during the day. Like I've been wanting to try like just using the open house as your office. So Drew and I are in a coaching program and she suggested that to us. Like go do an open house at a property so for 5 days straight, I'm going to be here from 10 to 12 or whatever the kind of like downtime is for you or the time where you need to be making calls or following up with things or whatever. So I heard about that idea like 2 weeks ago. I haven't started doing it yet, but I'm curious as to what days and times you do them during the week that's been successful.
Y'all should try it. She sold a $1.5 million home doing this.
Awesome. I know. That's why I'm so curious.
Serious
I do-
buyers are during the week, right? So
Yeah, and just to that point, before I lose this thought, the fact that Drew has 5 kids and date night involves putting signs out, I'm just going to send a warning to everybody. So just like I'm putting those two things together. The answer is like you, I'm a runner and I can be at home and not shower all day. But the reality is I don't have a lot of people that know me in Austin, Texas, and my goal is to get known. And so whether I think I'm working or it's pretend working or not, I turn an empty house, one of Brian's new listings into my office. And so
Yeah.
I will do, it could be 1 to 5, it could be 11 to 5. The answer is it depends. And now that it's lighter longer, the reality is I'm not really leaving at 5. Like unless I have a previous appointment, I don't leave like 5 o'clock, gotta go, time to make the donuts. It's later and people are starting to walk their dogs around 5:30 or whatever. So if I can be out and just be like, oh my God, it's a gorgeous day, then I do that. So my answer is it's never less than 4 hours. It's
But
just
the
never less
reality
than
is
4 hours.
You have many days where you don't get anybody. It happens. No matter
100%,
what.
100% of the time, that's where and here's a give is I, on this Monday, so I've done it 1 week in a row, work with me on this. I decided to do a market update from my open house. So I went through the MLS. I'm like, here's where you can buy houses that are between $1 and $1.5 million in Austin, Texas. And then I went in to say, and by the way, here are the top 5 areas where you can do that. And if you want to be within 15 minutes, or if you want to go out to Lago Vista and be, here's lake life, you can be 30 minutes. And so I actually utilized that time to study the market, determine where I want to be, what I want to do. And so that's work to me. That's work, is like market knowledge. And the last thing I've been doing now, another give, is for social media to make it easy. I've started this thing where I'll just put my video on. It's on a stand. I've got a little DJI for those of you who are familiar. Here. How convenient. It's in my car. Okay, because I'm about to shoot a house. So this thing just holds my phone. It shoots vertical and horizontal. It's called the DJI. And what I do is it has this base on it. So I set it up as a stand. I go somewhere in the house and I film myself either shutting a door, I've turned out the lights, I've walked out the door, and then I come back, I turn off the video, and then I edit it right there on my little iPhone. It takes 2 seconds to shorten it. And then I'll put a clip and it'll say, "Good night, house. See you again tomorrow at," and then I put that in my Instagram story. And it's like so simple, and it just forces me to be a little bit creative, and have good shoes. And that there's yeah, agreed, Brian. DJI is great. And there's a simple piece of creative that, one, tells people I was working, two, it shows them my great shoes of the day. And three, it says, "Hey, I'm going to be back." So it's doing like 3 things at once.
That's
And
cool.
I was
like
there anyways, and I have to turn out the lights and I have to walk out the door, or shut the patio. The other day I did it from the patio. So I set it up and it just showed me, I closed the patio doors and then I just walk off and it just says, "Good night, house. See you tomorrow, 1 to 5.
Thank you so much. Can everybody take 2 minutes? We gotta be conscious of time here. What do you do when clients, when potential open house buyers come through? How do you approach them? What is your game plan to communicate with them? If you can give everybody a little snippet, that'd be great.
So I'm unmuted. I can go ahead and go. Big, warm, friendly welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today at the open house. I'm Kristen Edwards. Can I offer you guys water, coffee, mimosas? And most people start laughing when I say the mimosa piece because they didn't expect that. And so I wait for them to respond. And if they want something, then I get it. And then I say, "Can I give you guys a couple fun facts about the house really quick?" Everyone always says yes. Even if they don't say yes, I go ahead and keep going. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property. It was built in 1977, just over 1,900 square feet, a 1/4 of an acre lot. Obviously you can tell property has been through whatever the situation is, right? So a massive renovation. Wait till you see the bathroom. You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe that. Wait till you see the backyard. And then obviously your goal is to break down the walls as fast as possible. So, people come in, they look like a deer in the headlights. When they leave, we're hugging each other, and it's all about building rapport, asking questions, finding out about them. And then I always ask people to sign. If I like them, I ask them to sign in. I should be asking everyone to sign in, because even if I don't like them, I can refer them to someone else. So I'm going to switch that this week based on our coaching call on Monday. But anyways.
Thank you. Drew, what's your plan?
When everybody comes in, everybody signs in. It's a non-negotiable for me. I have an iPad, I have a sign-in sheet. I have both. Do I get fake information sometimes? Definitely. I have my campaign set up on KV Core. It drips campaigns, everybody that's ever signed into my open houses. I'm able to go back and look at, hey, if I'm hosting an open house in the same area the next weekend, I let them know, hey, I'm hosting, I'll reach out. And I do things pretty old school as well. I'm sending text messages myself, sending videos. I send a video to everybody that came to my open house, a video message. It takes me maybe 20 minutes. Takes me 20 minutes to record all the videos. Hey, and I use their name, hey, Kristen, thanks for coming to my open house on Banana Street. Would love to see you there tomorrow. If you have any questions or you need any disclosures, I have your email, let me know. Easy. And it's usually from the house before I leave so that it gets done. Because if I leave that house, it's not getting done. I'm getting
You're
bogged
so
down
right. And that's
by the
brilliant.
million other things going on.
Yes.
I also, just that's follow up. Follow-up. It's in the prep and the follow-up. It's not in the actual open house. It's in the prep and the follow-up. So if you aren't going to do either of those, go find a different lead generation tactic. But if you're going to, there's gold in there for sure.
Jennifer, what's your plan when folks walk through the door?
Yeah, they say you're not supposed to live from regret, but from the house of regret, I have not had people sign in. There was a time that I did that. I have my business cards there. I do give them to people. I've got a couple that I'm meeting tomorrow that from an open house that I hosted through you. And I really do want people to call of their own volition. That said, I've got to find a way to get people to, they may have the best of intentions. So I do need to find a way to stay in touch. And I want to just say kudos because that one-to-one, that one-to-one follow-up is not meant to be scalable. It is very purposeful because the relationship is with that one person. So I say kudos for shooting that video and sending it. You don't need BombBomb to do it. You don't need anything. You just need your phone. And it's just that touch. So I think I agree. The follow-up is where I have fallen down and where my focus is going forward for sure.
Well, don't beat yourself up because every human being on the planet has that exact issue. And if they don't, they're lying or they have Agent Hub 360 behind them.
I know KV Core. Do any of y'all use the KV Core app? There's an open house app, I think, for sign-ins and stuff.
Yes, I've actually got my third listing from that. So every year now, like someone that I met years ago is coming back as an opportunity. Never talked to them, never, like maybe we messaged a few times in the beginning or I messaged them a few times and never responded, which is typically how it goes. By the way, don't get upset about that because literally nobody responds. And so, and when they do, you're like, oh my gosh, they must be serious. Like, let's get on the road. But just don't give up on people. I mean, I've had an open house I did in February and I messaged them 5 times, 1 per week, never responded. 10 months later, they came back. They were like, hey, we're getting ready. We were thinking about buying a house. We're $500,000 in cash. Like, would you want to help us? Are you kidding me? Does the bear poop in the woods? Yes, of course I want to help you. Like, so I say just don't give up on people. Like set them up on something that's not like, and the cool thing about the KV Core open house app, which I can't get into now, I need to figure out what's wrong with it, but is it sends them property. I signed myself up on there because I wanted to see what it felt like. And so it sends them properties once a week based on that listing that you met them at. So, and you can track who's looking at what. Like when James Duca is looking at like 15 houses, I'm like, oh, I better give James a call because something's going on here. Right.
Yeah.
So
one thing I've always, you never want to ask people, do they have a realtor? Right. That's such a realtor question. But
I do.
Well,
I have no shame in that whatsoever.
And there's
I don't ask you like that, Brian. I say, who are you working with?
Well, that's one way I've always gone about it. Just try to build in the conversation. Hey, who's your realtor? Who are you working with? If you're asking them, do they have one or who are they working with? I just always feel like that's a little softer way to come out because if they're like, oh, nobody, okay.
Well, when you say who are you working with, they're like, what do you mean?
Well,
I'm like, surely you have professional representation. And they're like, no. Or if they have to dig around for the person's name, then I know that I got them.
Shannon has a question. Shannon and Cindy, before we run out of time, they've been waiting.
Yeah, I wondered if you do anything different for different price points, if you put more into one price point than another.
Go ahead, Drew.
I try to stay in the same price point as what I work in. So sometimes Elizabeth will call me and she has a $300,000 to $400,000 house. And I'll go do that, or one of my team will. But I try to stay in the same price point in the same area. I don't do any, so I'm always doing the same thing. I think it's the same as working with a buyer. Do you do something different for $1 million buyer than a $10 million buyer or 300,000? No, you still give them the same experience, because you could have a $5 million buyer come to an $800,000 open house because they're looking for an investment. So just remember that just because you're in a $600,000 house doesn't mean that they're not buying a $6 million house. So.
And they may do they may do millions of dollars in business with you as well. I mean, I had a client, we did 6 transactions together from one open house. And so I personally, this is just like a self-confidence thing. I do not do, most of my open houses are 500 or below, or 600 and below. My average price point right now is like 300. So I do a lot in the 300s. I know most of you guys are probably cringing in your skin, but it just drops of rain fill up the bucket. And I don't care how I do $1 million in business a month. Like I want to do $1 million in business, close transactions a month. So also keep in, like, everybody's market's a little bit different. Most people who are buying at 6 or 8, 700, 800, whatever million, they already have representation. So I'm looking for, and I'm not saying that everyone does, but most of them do, right? And a lot of people don't go to $1 million open houses. They just don't. So I mean, I did 28 transactions last year. I'm about numbers. I want to help a lot of people, because a lot of people talking about you and talking about how your experience is. I treat everyone like they're $100 million client, even if they have a $100,000 budget. So I am getting a little tired on the things below 200. Just because, believe it or not, the higher the budget, the easier they are to work with. That's been my experience anyway.
I want to make sure we get Cindy's question in before we.
Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, ladies, I just want to know if you're taking follow-up questions, and if you are, what's the best way to reach you?
Workplace. Just ping them on Workplace.
Yeah, just ping everybody on Workplace, and then we can reach out to you from there. And you're welcome to reach out to me anytime. I've done multiple open house trainings. There's one I know in Family Tree. I did a couple podcasts with folks, so I'm happy to share everything. And I'm happy to get on the phone and chat with everyone too. I owe Kevin a phone call, so sorry about that, Kevin.
Does anybody have any other questions? I thought y'all were just rock stars today. Gave some great
We
ideas.
need like at least 2 more hours
I
because
know. Well,
there's so much that we do.
well,
I love to give, so I'll just tell everybody this really quick. I always have something to give people when they come to the open house. So it's St. Patty's. And so I'm like lucky I'm so lucky you came, or I'm lucky you're here, or whatever the thing is I'm going to put on here. There's a $1 scratch off in here and some green hugs and kisses. So and I'm going to do this for my neighbors too. Everything I do is under $1. So that all my farming is under $1. All the things that I do for neighbors is under $1. And it's blessed my life and it's blessed my business in huge ways. That's how I got my first listing, which is the open house that's led to 16 transactions so far and
That's
counting. So.
incredible story. Do y'all, if y'all could tell us in 1 minute each, do y'all actually pick up the phone and call these folks the next day or anything, or do you just send the video? What does your follow-up look like? We have literally 3 minutes left, so if y'all could each go through your follow-up.
My follow-up is those videos, and then I continually follow up with them every other day for the next 10 days. And then if I don't hear anything from them, then I put them on a drip campaign and I'll reach out to them monthly or once a week, and I'll taper it off, and then usually they come back around 30 days. But that's the follow-up. The follow-up is getting the CMA boxes out, getting all of those things out. People will ask for information at the open house, get that information to them, and then continue to follow up with them. I don't follow up with them just on Sunday. You're gonna know my number or block it by the time I'm done. Or do a transaction with me. One of the two. You weren't my friend before.
You need to buy or die.
Yeah, you're gonna buy or die. You weren't my friend before. It's none of my business what you think about me, and I'm here to help you. And so that's where I come from, a place of service and help. So I'm not really a salesman. I'm like, you said you needed help buying a house, so here I am. Right?
Jennifer,
So
what's your follow-up look like?
Yeah, I would agree. It is always relationship based and it is personal. It has to feel one-to-one. So whatever it is you choose to do, I just let it feel organic, let it feel natural, and do it in a way that is just quintessentially you. Just because somebody else is doing it and says it's a good idea, it doesn't matter if you're not going to do it. So whatever you choose to do, just do it your way. That would be my answer to that.
My follow-up is horrible. I hired a company to help me follow up, and then I still like don't even put the information in there for them to follow up. So if I can be successful with that and you're anything better than that, then you're going to be exponentially more successful. One thing I do like to do that I think is really unique is I bought these note cards from Note Card Cafe. And you can get like, I don't know, 50 or 100 of them for a few bucks. And I wrote a personal message in here for my open house folks. And so I like to send these to people. So part of when I'm asking people to sign in, I have a sheet, and actually have one right here, that like has their like first name, last, and I'm happy to share this also. It's a Word document. So if you don't like something on here, you can change it. But it has their, this is the survey. It doesn't have anything to do with the house. It has everything to do with them. First name, last name, email, address, phone number. Are they looking to buy or sell? What's their price range? Do they need to sell their house before they can buy? Are they cash or financing, pre-approved yet? When can we go? What day and time are best? When they want to be in their new house, and like on a scale from 1 to 10, what is their motivation to move? And so, and are they working with a realtor? So when I ask people to fill this out, I ask them to fill out at least the highlighted parts, because I like to send things in the mail, and people are like, oh, because they never know what that is. So this is the card. And then one day I'll be really good and I'll send like all kinds of cool cards and like little fun stuff in the mail. But this card says, thank you so much for joining me at the open house. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope you felt warm and welcome in my presence. Please let me know how I can be of service to you or anyone you love. So, because that is my message, and it's a message that I want. But the thing is, you got to do this. You have to actually send it. So I have like a pile of them for months. So I have a bunch of gold sitting on my table right now. Anyway,
Thank y'all so much.
it's a process.
We're past time. Y'all are amazing. It's the open house
You're
season. There's a lot of business out there, no matter what the price point is. I promise.
It's so true.
There's story after story
Yeah.
after story of people winning at open houses. So
Yeah.
y'all have a wonderful
This
day.
it's the most right now money.
Thank you.
The conversion rates are like 1 in 15. So there's no other thing that's
People are
got
coming
a
to you. People are coming to
conversion
you.
rate.
You know, so I
What'd you say?
said people are coming to you. How great is
Yeah.
that? You know, so
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. And you get to meet them. And I've met people at open houses. So I was like, whoop, no, we're not doing business together. You're awful. So I don't know. I think I love it. I love people. So this is my jam.
well, thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful
So
day.
much.
Thanks for
Bye,
having
guys.
us.
Thank
y'all.
you.
Absolutely. Chat
Bye.
soon. Take care.
Bye.